On the formation lap here on race day at the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 at Mount Panorama. Paul Morris joins me in commentary for the final race of the NZ Touring Car Masters. John Bowe on pole position after winning race number 2 yesterday. Stephen Johnson joins him on the front row, and we well documented over the weekend that we'd love to see an SJ out in the 1000 today, but not the case.
No, not the case. No Johnson in the race, unfortunately. But the one to watch in this race is a famous name, and it's Glenn Seaton. He had to come from the back yesterday, moved his way forward. There he is sitting right behind Mark King there, rolling across the top of the hill.
In fact, he made up 5 positions. We check out the grid there for race 3, the final one of the weekend. Bowe and Johnson on the front row. Eddie Abel-Nisa consistent again this weekend with Brett Yilden on the second row. Jim Richards and Mark King, Glenn Seaton and Cameron Mason. Tony Karamfilowski has withdrawn from the event, have had a broken gearbox discovered in car 88. And Rusty French did well yesterday to finish in 10th position.
He did. So he's a co-owner of PRA. 4 cars in the race here, but still got 4 if you count the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
So Rusty right involved in this event.
Jason Gomersall, they repaired the IC Tirana overnight Friday. He starts out of 11. Sven Burkhardt's got up to 15th position. Paul Freestone will start out of 19th. And Andrew Fisher won't be out in the field here today. He's got a fuel pressure issue with that engine yesterday. He said, look, I don't want to damage it. It's a brand new engine. They're expensive. He'll preserve it and save it for the final round.
Yeah, fuel pressure issue on these big long straights causes it to lean out, burn a piston down. So he's engines are expensive in these cars. They're $70,000 to $80,000 for a ground pounder.
They come underneath the famous Armour All Bridge.
That's
Glenn Seaton coming into pit lane.
He's coming in, so this is...
Oh dear.
What's he doing? He obviously got an issue somewhere. And he's still coming in pretty quick, so...
Well, we'll keep an eye on him. He comes into pit lane as this pumped-up field of NZ Touring Car Masters led by John Bowe and Stephen Johnson.
Back.
They're pretty much even here. Watch Johnson, though. He's on the outside for the run here. As the green flag is out, we're underway for the final race here at Mount Panorama, the NZ Touring Car Masters. Lockups further back in the field. Everybody on very cold tyres, but John Bowe leads us out of Xbox 1 corner. Johnson to second, Abel-Nisa in 3rd position. Then we've got Brett Yilden, King and Richards already challenging him on Mountain Straight on lap 1.
Yeah, so Mark's got the inside line, and he should just suck up behind Mark King here. And Yilden pulls off that move he knew from yesterday up the inside of Albanica.
Just seemed to work for him.
Yeah, he knows the track. He knows you can throw it up the hill and the hill will catch you.
So Bowe, as he's done so many times over the years, leads us up to the cutting on lap 1. It's a little bit of dust around the place. You've got to understand that there's service vehicles that do use the track during the night, so it'll be different conditions to what we saw yesterday.
Had a lot of pedestrian traffic last night. People walking the track, looking at their favourite spots. Which is the great thing about the access you can get after the racing stops.
Saw Cameron Tilley coming through there in car 60 across the top of Reed Park for the first time. Good to see Tony Hunter back out there. They got the car repaired after that rear suspension failure in race 2 as Bowe leads them across the top of McPhillamy Park and the drop down through Skyline. There's Rusty French cutting his way through the field nicely already. Doesn't do the justice, does it, that little drop down through the dipper?
It doesn't do it justice to you in a race car either. If you ever get the chance to strap in a race car and go for a ride round here.
I like the look of Brett Yilden.
Yeah, Brett's on the move. So Albanica's quick down the straight. Stevie J putting the lights on, and Brett goes a bit defensive. He knows he's a bit vulnerable down Conrod. Albanica's got a big motor under that bonnet of that Ford. The range is up on the back of it.
Look at the speed Johnson's carrying down into the chase.
Albanica has a step, throws it up the inside. I think he'll get this done.
He does.
Yeah, got him.
Got the curve at the same time. He straightens up to Sydney's cheapest cars. Big Falcon Coupe up to 3rd position now and chases Stephen Johnson, who's climbing onto the back of John Bowe as they hit Murray's Corner to complete lap 1 of this final race of the weekend.
I think he knew the brakes on the big Ford were good for a couple of laps. So use them while he's got them.
That's been the big game for these cars over the years, so hasn't it? The brake packages are a lot better than what they were 10 years ago.
They are a lot better, but you still have to manage it. You know, the size of the rotor is similar, but the technology in brake pad material has come a long way.
Abel-Nisa consistently in the top 3 this weekend. A couple of second-place results during the course of the year. Experience back in the days in the development series, back in the initial years. and on the high banks at Calder Park back in the Thunderdome days.
Yeah, he always goes well here at Bathurst, so obviously likes to stretch his legs.
Jimmy Richards, he's back there. Sixth position at the moment as they come out of Ty Power cutting the run.
Oh, Jimmy's real wide.
Just missed the wall there, would have been millimetres in it.
Yeah, he didn't flinch, but done that a few times over the years, Jimmy.
He's having a quiet run here this weekend, but is he thinking about championship?
He's the accumulator.
Yeah, exactly right.
He's just banking points. He knows he can win this championship.
A lot of success here at Mount Panorama over the years. 7 wins in the 1000.
For a lot of errors too. You think of the cars he's driven around here. Group C cars to Volvo Super Tourers. Those wins in the HRT and his twilight of his years were amazing.
Watching Rusty French and Cameron Mason. They come down through the dipper. The run down to Forest Elbow. In lap 2 at 7 here today. The sun's starting to shine on this Mount Panorama circuit.
Rusty just covering him off. He knows if he gets into that high cambered banking at Forest Elbow, it'll hold him in there. It's a bit of a trick round here, and Rusty's right onto it. Mason really hasn't picked that up. But Rusty knows this track for sure.
Stretched the legs, didn't he? Coming to Forest
well,
Elbow.
Rusty's going to have a good motor, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
He always has the best of everything, Rusty. All his cars are immaculate.
This one in particular, very, very old school, very cool. The Sky Sand sponsored entry, sweeping through the chase. The run down to Murray's Corner.
And you'll see Rusty on the PRA test days. At the end of the day, he normally gets in Pepsi Max car or Dave's Reynolds car and has a drive.
Rusty French comes out of Murray's Corner. We're off to a break. Come back and join us at Mount Panorama soon. The view looking down Mountain Straight as the leader John Bowe comes up to Griffin's Bend with Stephen Johnson and Eddie Abel-Nisa. It's a long gap now back to Youlden and Richards that go side by side. On the run up to here, there's been a fantastic scrap going on for the past lap and a bit. And Youlden doing a great job today. Inside the top 5, they're celebrating 100 years of Youlden family racing. Jim Richards all over the back of him as we work up to the top of the cutting, lap 4 of 7. They climb the top of the shelf with their way to Reed Park. Welcome back to Mount Panorama here in Bathurst, the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 here today. Lap 4 of 7 in the NZ Touring Car Masters. The scrap between Brett Youlden and Jim Richards continues across the top of this famous mountain.
So Youlden just using every bit of the road there. This is where he's got to make out a little bit of time on Jimmy. Jimmy's a bit faster down the chute. And you'll see him range up on him coming down Conrod. Youlden digging deep across the top of the mountain, which is what you got to do.
To make any ambitious moves through this part. Jimmy's done this all before.
Yeah, he's just sitting here waiting, and he knows he's got to get Youlden to make a mistake or pass him down the straight, which is a lot easier. And Stevie J now ranging up on the back of John Bowe. Going to make this race interesting. Has a bit of a look, pulls out.
It's a phantom look, isn't it?
Yeah. JB's seen that 100 times before, but it does cause him just to cover off the entry to the chase a bit, and then opens up the corner later in the baking phase. As you know, Steve really can't get in there in the heavier Mustang.
Down to Murray's they come. And Johnson getting closer. Can't complete the 4th lap, so closing stages, and so far it's been clean and green here out Mount Panorama. Richards has got past Youlden here. Squeezing one more commercial break and come back to the runs the checkered flag here at Bathurst. Close to Stephen Johnson's been as he works the slipstream. Bowe starting to drive defensive now on lap 6 here of the NZ Touring Car Masters. They climb Griffin. Eddie Abel-Nisa has lost touch with these two. They're going to scrap it out right to the end. Make the run up to the cutting. Track conditions getting warmer and warmer by the lap here. The sun breaking through the clouds here today. Come out the cutting. So a lap and a half roughly for Stephen Johnson.
It's the money time, isn't it? He's on the back of him now and pushed really hard last time through here.
And Bowe, as ever, making that Tirana as wide as possible to come across the top of the mountain. Big crowd watches on here. These two continue to scrap on. 2 laps remaining here at Mount Panorama as we welcome you back to the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 here today. And Stephen Johnson right on the back of John Bowe as we enter the final couple of laps. Look at him all over the back.
Well, Forrest Elbow is going to be the decider here. If Steve can be close enough to him, and he is, just get in the slipstream and get some overlap down Conrad. Once they get into the later braking phase, the Tirana's a little bit better, so he needs to get some overlap and some track position on him. And here he goes. JB's just going to mid-track it here. Sneak across. He's giving him a look.
Oh, it's on.
This will be too wide. No, tucks back in. So too wide through there. Probably not what they want to be doing.
He looked like from the backward shot then he was well and truly up alongside him, but
once you pull out, you hit that wall of air and just can't go on with it. Or it could be sitting on the rev limiter. It looks very, these things run a rev chip. So maybe it's just hitting the chip and can't accelerate. Similar thing to what we used to see in V8 supercars.
What a turnaround for this team this weekend. Jason Gomesol's IC Tirana that was bruised and battered after race 1 on Friday. The Matt Stone Racing team, headed by Jimmy Stone, worked on that car all night to have it ready for race 2. And he's rewarding these guys right now with a solid top 10 performance here. He's got Rusty French ahead, driving very defensively.
Super defensive for Rusty.
Cam Mason is also in this. We go back to the leaders on this, the final lap. Climbing through Griffins. Johnson just needs to get himself back into the box seat across the top and line him up out of Forrest Elbow. Can't do too much up through this region.
He can't. JB's going to work real hard as well, so he knows he's a little bit vulnerable that lap before. We'll just try and eke out another car length gap just to give him that buffer down Conrad. He's flying the right front through there.
So much stronger, isn't he, across the top?
The car's lighter, and that's all it is, you just a little bit less weight. They're on the same tyre.
But Johnson doing a phenomenal job to stay with him.
Yeah, you can see him just
Sally is
working the brake pedal there in the middle part of the corner, just trying to keep the nose down, keep the front turning.
Exactly how we saw it last lap.
There he goes again, holding the brake in the middle of the corner, just trying to keep the front of the car rotating. And will he have a look here? No. So he tries to set himself up for the big run. JB's just so strong in that middle part of the corner, he can just crack the throttle a car length earlier. Here comes Steve. JB's going to white line this thing or mid-track it. There he goes. You can read him like a book. Comes across. He should be all right from here. He'll go defensive, just give Steve no room.
I think that's going to be enough for him.
Yeah, that'll be done. Steve knows it too.
Coming down to the final turn. It's been an illustrious career for John Bowe. Stephen Johnson was the 4th guy to convert pole into a race win on Friday. But today, it's all about John Bowe as he comes through to win the final race of the NZ Touring Car Masters here today at Mount Panorama. Fantastic scrap that went race long. And again, half a second at the finish line between these two. The crowd love it, don't they?
Oh, they do. An interesting thing, John Bowe's the car owner of the car that Steve's driving, so I suppose he didn't want to get too rough and tumble with him.
The finishers further back in the field, Gomesol and Rusty French still driving defensive with no real reason to.
Hank's tough, which is a good result for Rusty. He'll be happy with that.
Gomesol holds on for a top 10, gets into 8th, Mason in 9th.
7th to Rusty French. He'll be over the moon with that result.
Well done to all these guys here. They head back in. The early morning crowd love what they see here at Mount Panorama.